think you've all heard the adage, it's a thought that counts. We all know that saying something and doing it isn't the same. We tend to put such a high premium on actions than we do thoughts. Even the people who are paid to think have to communicate their ideas so that someone else can act upon them. Without actions, our thoughts seem pretty useless. However, your thoughts have more impact on your life than you may even imagine. Yes, without actions, thoughts aren't worth much. But in reality, it doesn't take much to make your thought an action. As a very wise Mahatma Gandhi once said, keep your thoughts positive because your thoughts become your words. Keep your words positive because your words become your behavior. Keep your behavior positive because your behavior becomes your habits. Keep your habits positive because your habits become your values. And finally, keep your values positive because your values become your destiny. You are the creator of every single circumstance and situation that arises in your life. Our reality is based off our own thoughts. I see a lot of high school students out there in the audience, so let me take an example that's a little more relatable. Think about the time where you've got a test. Your teacher passes out the test, and right when you get the test, you get all these negative, fear-based thoughts in your mind like, what if I forget all my formulas? What will I do? What if I can't finish the test in time? What if my pencil stops working? We get all these negative, fear-based thoughts in our mind that cause a psychological reaction in our body that produce and secrete certain hormones. This affects our ability to perform at the best of our capability. You could have done good on that test, but due to your thoughts, you fell short. We studied so hard and put in all our efforts to get that 100 on the test. So why should we drain all our hard work and efforts because of our negative thoughts? And that's why it's so important to stay positive. And you may say, it's easier said than done. And I don't disagree with that. Many of the times it's more natural to worry, and sometimes when we're thinking positive, it seems like it's taking too much energy and it doesn't last long. But that is because positivity needs to be instilled into your subconscious mind. About 95% of all our actions happen at a subconscious level. So what even is our subconscious mind? Well, try to remember the first time you tied a shoelace. At the time, wasn't it so time-consuming and you had to practice how to even do it? Your answer is probably yes. At the time, it was so time-consuming and we had to consciously think what we were even doing. But now I can bet many of you have made it a habit and you're able to tie your shoelace and get on with your day without even realizing that you did so. And that is because actions that are repeated regularly over a long period of time have been instilled into our subconscious mind. While actions that are new and occasionally done, that takes a little bit more practice. Thus, with all these facts, unless positivity isn't instilled into our subconscious mind, we won't be able to reap the benefits of it and make it a habit. And that's why we see people doing affirmations and gratitude journals. They say, fake it till you make it. So try to do that. Every single morning, wake up and say, this is going to be the best day ever. I'm going to have the most favorable results for all my hard work. And I can bet you that thinking positive will become your second nature. For all of you in the audience that are like my dad and don't believe it until you hear the scientific reasoning behind it, there's a very interesting concept called epigenetics, which basically states how you think translates into the chemistry of what you will become. And this is based off a simple formula of signal plus protein equals behavior. So when we're not behaving as we wish to be behaving, we say we're experiencing a dis-ease or discomfort. And what is the cause of this dis-ease and discomfort? Well, 1% of it comes from the proteins in your body, while the other 99% of it come from your signals, like thoughts, trauma, toxins. And out of that 99%, 90% are your thoughts. So 90% of how you behave is correlated to your thoughts. Each thought that you have causes a neurochemical change in your body, some temporary and some lasting. But every negative thought that you have sends a toxin in your body. That is responsible for more than 90% of all your dis-ease or discomfort you may be feeling. So if we have these inappropriate thoughts at an inappropriate time, it causes this inappropriate behavior. But for people who think positive and consciously practice gratitude, they get a surge of rewarding neurotransmitters in their body like dopamine, which is correlated with how they generally feel and causes a general alerting and brightening of the mind. Thus, with all these facts, unless positivity is in practice and we think about all the negatives like sadness, depression, anxiety, not only are we affecting our destiny, but also our health. And we have to think, you may say like, life's not as rosy as it sounds. And I don't disagree with that. Many of the times life is full of problems and stresses that we can't get rid of. But we have to think about the people like Walt Disney, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Do you think that these iconic figures didn't have their own share of problems and reasons to dwell into sadness, depression, anxiety? No, just the mere mention of their name reminds us of their fame and glory, doesn't it? These people wouldn't be so successful if they let their negatives get to them and didn't think about the positives. For example, LeBron James. He didn't have a very stable childhood. Many of the times he had to shuffle from place to place and sometimes even had to spend the night in a car or at his friend's house. But do you think he would be so successful if he thought about the negatives and got rid of the positives? No. He was able to stay strong, think about the positives, and that's why he's a hero on the basketball courts today. There are many simple, day-to-day examples that I can quote from our own lives, in fact, that show how entangled we get into this negativity. In the new day and age of social media, instant texting, aren't you so used to getting that prompt response from whoever you text that when you don't receive it, you steer yourself into the negative direction? For example, when you text your friend and you see that they've read the text, seen the text, but they haven't given you that prompt response, don't you get all these negative feelings in your mind like, is she upset with me? Is she angry? Is she hanging out without me? We get all these negative thoughts in our mind when we fail to recognize that there could be a positive. What if your friend is simply doing her homework, or she's not feeling well, or maybe she's on her way to meet you right now? Why do we steer ourselves into the negative direction without even knowing the other side or the other situation? And that's where I'll tell you, challenge your negative thoughts with the positive ones. The person in the middle is a representation of each and every one of you. You have two sides of your thoughts. The negative, the devil in your mind, they'll tell you what to do, or the positive, the angel, they'll tell you what you should do. It's your choice who you decide to choose to. If I were the person in the middle, I choose to challenge my negative thoughts with my positive ones. So if we say goodbye to all this negativity in our life, not only are we freeing up some disk space for innovative ideas, but we're also shaping our future in such a great way that the results are endless. Thus, it's all that simple. Your life depends on the choices you make. Yes, you truly are the product of your thoughts. Now, the choice is yours.